Hello, gents. Ray Purchase here. So I forgot my camera stand in the other room, and I'm too lazy to get it. So today, for Halloween month, we're reviewing Jughead: The Hunger Volume 2, which is written by Frank Tieri, I don't know how to pronounce your name, buddy, who I think is a good writer. I'm not sure. Yeah, last year I reviewed Volume 1, which is, here's Volume 1. I reviewed this for Halloween month last year, so check out that review, right? If you want to know, hey, what's going on in this book. And by the way, what was I going to say? A graphic novel haul at the end of the video, so make sure to check this out. So this is like a spin-off of Archie Comics. I paid $22 for this book. It's rated M for mature, right? And if you knew anything about the book, right? Which who did the art for this mother? Like they got multiple artists in this beach. Where are they? Pat and Tim Kennedy and Joe Isma. Right, and I liked how they had this to let people know, hey, what happened in the previous book, which I was too lazy to reread Volume 1 of Archie Comics, which Jughead: The Hunger, which I probably should have at least watched my review from last year, but, you know, YouTube does not like when you watch your own videos. They'll like, remove likes from your videos if you watch your videos, right? It's like, goddamn, like, I delete, most of the time, I delete my videos off my computer to save space, man. Right, so here you're seeing animal abuse from Elena, who is the main badass werewolf killer for the Cooper family, which in this book, if you if you watch my Volume 1 review, you know, in this book, which is a spin-off of Archie Comics, it's basically about how Jughead turns into a werewolf, and somebody's going around killing people, and people think it's Jughead, right? And it turns out there's this thing, there's like a Hatfield and McCoy's situation with the Coopers and the Jones, which Betty Cooper is part of the Coopers, which is one of Archie's girlfriends, and obviously Jughead is Jones, right? And the Coopers were the werewolf hunters, and the Jones were the werewolves, right? And we get like this little backstory between Elena, right? And how, like, you know, she killed like her boyfriend, who was a werewolf, who was one of Jughead's ancestors or uncles. Yeah, he was his uncle, right? We get this backstory, and we get introduced to Betty Cooper's brother, whose name is Dutch, and at first I thought these guys were parodying, like, ripping off, like, Arnold Schwarzenegger's character from Predator, but apparently these guys are supposed to be, like, referencing, like, G.I. Joe, which you got the Scarlet-looking chick here, and obviously he's supposed to be Duke. I don't know who the other guys are supposed to be, because, you know, I'm not a huge G.I. Joe guy. I love how, like, my local comic book guy, I asked him, like last year, hey, bring in G.I. Joe or Transformers comics. He wouldn't, but now he does, and it's like, I'm broke, man. I can't, you know, I'm not gonna spend money on, like, you know, comics. I'm not that, you know, I don't know if I'm gonna like, right? So it's like, yeah. So I'll stick to, like, I'll stick to, like, my superhero comics. Alright, so yeah, what ends up happening is Jughead, after his dog gets murdered by Veronica, who's now a werewolf, and is part of the, also Jughead cross-dresses in the book, because why not? And, yeah, Jughead goes back to his motel. His dog, Hot Dog, gets murdered. So obviously you guys know I'm a dog owner. I don't like dogs. I don't like animal abuse in my comics. I don't like dogs getting killed in my comics. So, not a fan of that. But yeah, what ends up happening is, Reggie kidnaps Jughead's sister, and Jughead has to go back to Riverdale to confront, Reggie, and he teams up with Archie and Betty, which, Archie and Betty last volume tried to kill, Jughead because he's a werewolf, or lichen, you know, what do they call the werewolves in Werewolf the Apocalypse? Oh, they're just called werewolves, right? Are they? I can't remember. But yeah, so I don't know. The book, I thought the story was okay, the art's okay. A lot of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Joss Whedon, girl power in this book, right? Also, this book comes with a bonus issue. The first issue of the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, which is the remake of the Sabrina the Teenage Witch TV series, which was originally a comic by the same creator of Archie, or same publisher of Archie, right? And they have Archie characters in this book. I did not like this book because just like in the TV show, which is like satanic feminist propaganda, apparently feminists like Satanism because it's the only like pro-female religion. And in this book, lots of satanic references. The witches are cannibals, and lots of praising of the underworld one. So yeah, I didn't like this. The art was cool though. But yeah, I don't recommend that book unless you're seeing this. Or a God-hating heathen. If you're a God-hating heathen, then this is the comic book for you. Right? And I'm a bad Catholic, but I try not to, piss in the face of my creator or some shit. Something like that, right? Which maybe I shouldn't be watching and reviewing Devilman. No, I promise no more Devilman reviews, God. So what do I think about this book? I think, I gave the last one 5 out of 10. Because, it was just average. Here, a little bit less than average. Because, I'm not a huge fan of, okay, you want to have Mary Sue's, that's okay, you can have Mary Sue's. Don't make the Mary Sue's, overshadow the male characters, right? And why do, when you make Mary Sue's, they make them, unlikable jerks, right? Why can't you have a badass woman that, does, that isn't hateable, right? Like the Black Widow, for example, from the MCU. She's a badass woman, and nobody really hates her. She's not really hateable, right? But, a lot of, when they try to make female characters badass in, comic books and stories, they make them, they make them, abrasive and, assholes, basically, right? So, yeah, 4 out of 10, fuck this book. Waste of money. But, yeah, so we'll show you the books I got. at the dollar store, because I went to the dollar store to buy cheap snacks on my way to go see Halloween Ends at my friend's house who has Peacock. And, you know, I told myself I wasn't going to buy any books, right? I'm just there to get some cheap candy, right? Because I like to eat candy while I'm watching, you know, new movies. And they had a lot of good books there. And what sucks is that they're like $5 now at the dollar store. So it's like, you know, when they were $3, $4, you know, that was good. Now they're $5. It adds up quickly, right? So I'll show you the books I got. X-Men First Class. This was all Marvel books, by the way, by Jeff Parker. I thought this was volume 1. Turns out it's volume 2. Right? And I was reading it a little bit, and this is for all ages. But for an all ages book, it was still good. Next, I picked up Siege X-Men, which has Dark Wolverine, which is Wolverine's bisexual, half-Japanese son, right? Which, this is a Daniel Way book, but, like, you can tell it's co-written by, you know, Mallory Liu, and I guess I'm blaming her for the, you know, for making Wolverine's son bisexual. Which, you know, the first thing he does is, like, you know, there's the scared soldier, right? And, like, Draken's like, you know, I'll make you see, like, he's scared, and, like, Dakin's like, you know, if you promise to go out with me, I'll see you safe after the mission, right? And he's like, yes, good, and then he beats the shit out of him for being a weakling coward. So, yeah, that was interesting. So next book I picked up was Secret Avengers, Eyes of Dragon, Volume 2, featuring Shang-Chi, which I have Volume 1. Never picked up Volume 2. Looking forward to this book. I don't remember if I liked Volume 1, but it's by Ed Brubaker, right? Next book I picked up is Ultimate Comics, Divided We Stand. Or, sorry, Divided We Fall, United We Stand. And I think this is like the post-Ultimatum, which, this is a thick book, right? And I think it comes with 15 comics. And it's like Ultimate Comics, Ultimate Spider-Man, Ultimate X-Men, right? So I don't know, looking forward to that. And the last book I got is, I'm not sure if it's technically Silver Age or Golden Age, but I picked up Marvel Man Family Finest. And Marvel Man is like a controversial character. He's basically like the British ripoff of, like, Captain Marvel. And it shows, because, like, you know, because he's a kid, and he says the magic word, and then he becomes Marvel Man, right? And this has comics from 1954 to 1955, right? Which I'm not sure. I think that's, like, technically 55 is the start of the Silver Age. So, like, so this is technically Golden Age, I think, because isn't Golden Age like 1935 to 1955? I don't know. Like, somebody, like, school me on this. And that's the magic word, Kimota, right? That turns him into a Superman ripoff and Captain Marvel ripoff. But yeah, here's him as a kid or whatever. So I don't know. Apparently, there's a very controversial run of Alan Moore. Alan Moore did a Marvel Man comic book, and, like, it was, like, really good, and, like, you know, the publisher wanted Grant Morrison to do the sequel, and Alan Moore, that commie motherfucker, was like, "Fuck off out of here, Baldy. Go hide in your room like you did in the '60s during the punk era." Apparently, Grant Morrison was a shut-in during the punk era because he was scared to be bullied or something, according to Alan Moore. And that started the whole rivalry between Grant Morrison and Alan Moore, which you guys know whose side I am on that rivalry, right? But yeah, so I've been meaning to pick up Marvel Man, or Mr. Miracle as he's now called, or whatever. Well, I think Marvel Man is like owned by Marvel, and then like Alan Moore basically ripped the character off and made a superhero called Mr. Miracle. Or sorry, not Mr. Miracle. What's it called? What's his name? Miracle Man. Right? So yeah. So we're gonna review this at some point, and if I like it, I'll pick up more Marvel Man stuff. Right? So that's it for this review, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and